Success in Sea of Thieves is usually measured in gold or in glory. If you have a lot of gold, great, you're rich and successful. If you have a lot of glory, great, you probably sink a lot of ships and can get out of a tough situation. But would you believe it if I said there's a third way to measure success in Sea of Thieves, and the 4-pirate galleon at the center of today's story has mastered it. This is the crew of Llewellyn? I'm sure I'll get it. A band of misfits who were all born outside of the Sea of Thieves, but came through the Shroud to prove they've each got what it takes. Their gold-plated guard, Thomas, is an ex-militia turned seafarer. Knowledgeable of the dangers of the world, he refuses to take off his guard costume, even when he sleeps. Next up is Sneaky Pete. Sneaky Pete loves a good heist, and just last month was single-handedly responsible for stealing a full stock of 200 pirate appearance potions from Port Merrick. He, of course, did so completely undetected. Logan, who is the captain of this ship, assisted Sneaky Pete by smuggling and reselling all 200 of the pirate appearance potions. And lastly, Good Time Greg purchased and consumed all 200 of the pirate appearance potions. This crew was sailing the seas with a main purpose of selling 2 Reaper's bounty chests at the Reaper's Hideout. These chests, which can only be sold at Reaper's Hideout, not only mark their ship with a light beam, but are also visible on the map to every pirate on the seas, meaning their ship was highly sought after. That didn't seem to bother them though. Lull, well done, was now sailing against the wind on the long drive north to Reaper's Hideout. This crew knew how to make that long drive a good time. First, Thomas decided to demonstrate his knife-stabbing prowess. He chose the anchor as his victim because as a kid he lost his parents both in a tragic anchor accident. He had had a very rocky relationship with anchors ever since. The ship of Leg Warmer 1 also had some pets who occupied it. There was this monkey who danced, even when no one played music, and a dog. Good Time Greg had a special relationship with the dog. By that I mean he wanted nothing more than for the dog to be off the ship. Then, Thomas decided to show off some more of his skills, his knife-throwing accuracy. That's one swift pirate. Thomas continued with this until it was 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock means one thing. Time for an organized dance line, which would have been spectacular if there was any music. While the dance moves were semi-synchronized, without the music, the shuffling was actually kind of a bit uncomfortable for an outsider. But they seemed to enjoy themselves, and it seems to be their ritual. The crew of Long Edwin was almost to Reaper's Hideout, but Flameheart sensed their crew's proximity and sent his strongest defenses, a skeleton sloop. This was a true decimation. Now at Reaper's, Good Time Greg and Logan picked up their Reaper bounty chests with Thomas as their bodyguard, and they went to the island to sell the chests. They had had the Reaper bounty chests on their ship for about 30 minutes at this point, so it was possible another pirate was camping out on the island waiting for a sneak attack. Thomas would never let that happen though. Lucky for them this time, it was an easy sell. Logan jumped for joy and the crew set off fireworks at Reaper's. You see, this crew was a Sea of Thieves success story already. Not just because they were sinking ships and making gold, but because they made every moment they spent on the Sea of Thieves count. Be it sailing against the wind, or even celebrating turning in 2 pieces of loot, they made every moment a memory and part of their pirate journey. And that to me is going to be the third measure of success in Sea of Thieves. Their success story wouldn't stop at Reaper's Hideout, because they had been leveling up their guild emissary flag and needed one last thing to push them to grade 5. Seeing as they decimated the last skeleton ship they came in contact with, they headed just north of Reaper's to take on all 3 waves of the skeleton fleet. The first wave's galleon emerged, and the crew of Lamp Whale Inn started blasting. Smoke and rubble flew everywhere. Thomas connected a harpoon and slid on down, launching his body full force at the side of the Skelly ship. The Skelly galleon fought back with anchor balls. The crew tried to pull up the anchor again, and again, and again. Thomas, although very hesitant around the anchor due to his past traumas, even pitched in to help. With repairs being made downstairs, finally, from a stationary position, Thomas, Good Time Greg, and Logan all fired away, sinking the galleon. In the midst of all this chaos, Sneaky Pete, who we've not seen much of thus far, possibly due to how sneaky and undetected he goes, was the crew's loyal helm, setting them up perfectly for Wave 2. Up top, the shots were looking great, but the boat with the name you see on this screen was hurting down below. Good Time Greg was on it though, giving buckets and then a solid hatch. Now onto the final wave, a galleon and a skeleton sloop. In the third wave, they were truly feeling their groove, just narrowly missing a large rock and sending the galleon and sloop that emerged in this wave to their deaths. When it came time to harpoon the loot, the ship went a bit past the large pile of loot, so the crew had to anchor, but thanks to all the practice they just gotten from the mini anchor balls shot their way, they got that anchor back up quickly, giving Thomas yet another successful opportunity to overcome his fear. With all the loot now on board of the Ellen DeGeneres show, which by the way has a dead rat above its ship crest, it was now time to go and sell. In daylight, Good Time Greg was truly a sight to take in. A sharp light hit and reflected off the broken vase that was attached to his peg leg. The story there is one time Good Time Greg was attempting a heist in a vase shop by carefully stepping in through the window. Unfortunately, he stepped his peg leg right into a vase, and he couldn't fully get the vase off. When the pirate police interrogated him, the evidence attached to his body didn't do him any favors. Having had such a great day on the seas, the crew burst into music. Good Time Greg, Thomas, Sneaky Pete, and Logan all had found the secret to success in Sea of Thieves. It turns out this crew's ship name was pronounced Llewellyn, which translates to like a lion or a leader, which is a perfect name for a crew in Sea of Thieves. Like a lion, they are after royalty and gold. Like leaders, they are often after glory. Their ship represented success in gold and glory, but the decorations on the ship and the various outfits and curses rocked by each crew member brought in the third most important mark of success in Sea of Thieves, going beyond gold and glory. From the moment they picked up the Reaper's chests to the moment they sold their last bit of loot at Daggertooth Outpost, this crew made it all count. What good is gold and glory if you don't make fantastic memories and maybe even fantastic friends along the way? As we said our goodbyes, I knew what I had seen today was only a chapter in the middle of what was already a long, but well worth it read on the legacy and success of the crew of Llewellyn.